It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Longe. How are you?
Fine.
Good to see you. I love your color. You know this is my color you're wearing.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Let me see, what was my weekend? So on Saturday, I went for this. My step-granddaughter had a pop-up.
Wow.
She had a store where she was selling cupcakes.
Okay.
Really cute stand.
Healthy cupcakes or regular cupcakes?
No, regular cupcakes. She's just 7. She's 6, you know.
Oh.
And she was there with her friend, who's a 9-year-old. And when you come, you know, she's the one that organized everything. She set everything up, you know. She baked the cake, and he was the marketing person. So when you walk in, he will tell you exactly the cakes that they have. And then he said something that was funny. He says, in America, you would be paying tax. You'll be making a tip. He said, in America, you'll be paying a tip. But no, or is it tax? And said, but in Nigeria, you can turn it into a tip or something like that. You know, I just thought it was really lovely. Like, he's such a little boy, but so confident. And yes, confident, especially with the financials. And I'm seeing a lot of that. Like, younger children are becoming more aware of how to make money, where the money goes. It's not just give me so that I can spend. They're understanding what I need to do to make the money, how to save the money. In fact, even investment. So I thought it was really cute.
Actually, it's interesting you said that, because I was telling them yesterday that my daughter was going on my nerves. So today, trying to be a good girl, she started telling me some things, and I'm like, hey, you auntie, politician, you know I'm angry with you from yesterday. She was not telling me what I wanted to hear. Things like this, of her plans, what she wants to be in future, and she started coming with all these funny jobs I've never heard in my life. I'm thinking, auntie,
there are new jobs.
But because of your help, you have to upset with you. That's to impress your mom. See, but I'm really happy with the day they're thinking. So just so you know, like what you said. Alaja Nima Akashat, how are you?
I'm fine. So on Sunday, I said I went to speak at the Muslim Association of Visually Impaired of Nigeria. I've always partnered with them. I love to spend time with them. So I attend every year, any of their events or any of the days I could. So last weekend, they decided I must speak at the event. I lectured on womanhood and mental health. And amazing.
Please, I didn't see the clips. Who went with you?
Imran.
So, I mean, come on, Nima.
Yeah, because Halima decided to disappear on me.
That kind of event, you know that be going alone.
I usually go to
capture
events.
that.
I usually don't capture. So I just looked at it when she didn't come. I just left and went. So, but they would send videos.
Please, we need to post it.
But what stood out for me is every year I see those people, as blind visually as they are, the inner mind works amazing. My bag I bought from them. Last year I got a vase, flower vase, and continuously they keep, you know, creating new things that I'll now see somebody come and block my car at the office that I've not eaten since morning. I'm wondering, people, nobody asks. They don't even ask you. Once you come, they honor you. And I think more people should do more with them. They're amazing.
Yeah, that's
they make
fantastic.
Perfumes, they make candles, they make, you know, they make so many things.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm happy you've been quite consistent. I remember last year you went to the bag you got. I remember that. Hello, Dr. Obiajilu Ugbo. How are you? Did your hair is trending, no?
Yes,
I saw Catherine use it. Catherine looks so amazing. I was like, this is Obiajilu's hair.
The hair for the season.
No. Everybody
Easy wear.
Lovely. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. So I'm going on a movie set from tomorrow. Yes, I got another movie gig.
Congratulations.
And this is the sub-lead. I have a lot of work to do. So for a couple of days, I'll be shooting. And I'm really excited. And we're also still selling the hairs, the skincare, the outfits, and the books. People are asking to order the book. So there are 2 ways you can either get the book. Either I send it to you physically, or you go on Seller and you buy on Seller. Yeah.
What about Amazon? Working on it?
We're working on that. But anywhere you're in the world, you can access Seller for now.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let's go on a very short break. Thanks for staying with us. So join us to discuss common myths about health insurance in Nigeria is Dr. Akinkumi Ilori, the Group Head Medical Operations Bastion Health. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
So one of the very first myths we'd like you to touch on is the fact that people believe that health insurance is generally too expensive. Is that true?
Yes, it's quite the opposite, and that's a major myth that needs to be debunked. You know, it's not expensive at all. We have plans for everybody, you know, from the wealthy, you know, to the vulnerable groups, people living in, you know, places where they don't even earn up to $1 a day. You know, so we have plans for everybody, large corporate organizations, you know, individuals, families, you know, small and medium enterprises. We have plans for everybody ranging from as low as 20,000 naira annually. You know, you know, everybody has a chance to actually have health insurance. We understand how much it takes to go to the hospital today to pay out of pockets just to treat malaria.
So that 20,000 you pay monthly, or you pay the whole 20,000 once?
10,000 for a year. That covers you for a year. I mean, going to the hospital as a private paying patient, you can pay up to 30,000 just for a visit. So you can understand how cheap it is to actually have health insurance.
A few more myths.
Yes, so please, may I ask what that 20,000 naira will cover? Because we hear that these health insurances do not cover major illnesses, just minor ones.
No, that is not true. We have a plethora of services that we offer, ranging from major to minor. You know, in this part of the world, people suffer from a lot of chronic illnesses such as hypertension, diabetes, arthritis. We cover all this. We cover advanced investigations up to CT scans, MRI scans. So every plan has a limit and has certain benefits under it. But I can assure you that in terms of basic care, in terms of things like antenatal care, for instance, all plans are covered. You know, chronic illnesses, you know, cancers and the likes. It's just the limits that differ. But these services and procedures are all covered.
Because there's a myth that if you don't use it, the money is wasted. You know, I might pay the 20,000 but never get to hospital in a year. In fact, sometimes we never get to hospital at all for any else reason. So what happens to the money?
So this is a very common misconception, and we try to educate Nigerians as much as possible. It's not only when you are sick that you're supposed to go to the hospital. You know, if people believe that I must have a fever, I must have a headache, my child must have diarrhea before I go to the hospital, that's not true. There are preventive and wellness checks that is important that you go to the hospital for, in terms of, you know, checking your blood pressure. I mean, today we have just a handful of Nigerians that actually check their blood pressure and blood sugars, and these people, most of them have family histories of these things, and it's important that you check. So going for preventive illness, preventive wellness, and, you know, just basic health checks. I mean, you still use the care, and of course we also have the plan to also go to you sometimes to actually offer this health care to you, even from the comfort of your homes or offices.
Okay, some of us believe that it's quite complicated and difficult to use the health insurance. Could you help us explain that?
No, it's not difficult at all. Bastion Health as a whole has actually made it very simple. We have the Bastion mobile app, you know, which you can download on the Apple Store or Google Play Store. You know, it's very easy to navigate. You know, you can check the hospitals that are under your plan. You can actually register and buy a plan even on that Bastion app. You know, you can check if you are part of a large corporate body, you can check your employees' health history and things like that. So it's important that we simplify it for Nigerians. We know Nigerians don't like stress, you know, especially in this economy of ours.
You can check your employees' health history.
No, not health history, like health, what's the kind of diseases that they've had over the years, like just to have an idea of the
as an employer
disease burden of your plan, not like having
resource,
not like having
information. Just know the disease burden that in this company, we have a lot of people who go to the hospital for a certain illness, what is going on, to help guide them on how to prevent such things in the future.
People say that when you use insurance, there's a possibility you just get access to cheap hospitals or low quality hospitals. Could you help us debunk that, or is that true?
So there are different hospitals on the plan.
Okay.
You know, we have large-scale hospitals and we have small clinics. You know, HMOs partner with all kinds of health care providers, ranging from diagnostic centers, optical centers, and dental clinics. So you can't expect every single hospital to have the same tariff and to be on the highest plan. You know, hospitals have different tiers, but what we do from our end is that we do our due diligence at all times. We ensure that every hospital that is registered under Bastion Health is of high quality. You know, go to the hospital, check the medical practitioners' certifications, registrations. Do they have running water in that hospital? Things as simple as that. Do they have electricity in that hospital? What's their waiting area like, you know, and things like that. So we always ensure that every single hospital or healthcare provider that comes on board the Bastion HMO is of high quality and delivers good service to our enrollees.
Yeah, some other people say health insurance is a scam, that they never pay claims. Is that true?
That is not true. At least from the Bastion HMO end, I can speak for Bastion Health. You know, we have a contract with healthcare providers to pay their claims within 30 days of submission, and we try to keep to this contract. So we pay our claims as at when due, and I think our reputation goes a long way to speak for us in this regard.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you also decide doctors and treatments for patients? For instance, somebody is already used to a particular doctor, but your insurance company doesn't want to partner with that hospital. In that case, then you start to decide what kind of treatment they take or the kind of hospital they must use. Is that true?
Okay, so let me start with this. In terms of hospital network, we have a very robust hospital network, over 2,000 hospitals and healthcare providers in all of Nigeria. And then we welcome even new ones. You know, for instance, somebody wants to come on board the HMO and says, I've been using hospital A for the past 3 years. I had my 2 or 3 children in that hospital. You don't have it on your network. What can you do for me? So we sometimes try to go out of our way to actually go and sign up this hospital. Of course, we also have to do our due diligence, as I said earlier, to ensure that this hospital meets up to our standards, because at the end of the day, you see that not only that person will be using that hospital, other people within the HMO network will also have access to that hospital. So you have access to roam within the Bastion health provider network. We don't say, okay, because you are in this particular locality, you have to go to this hospital. You know, you have access to, if you travel from Lagos to Benue State, for instance, and you want to see a doctor, we won't say, no, you have to come back to Lagos before you can see a doctor. That doesn't make any sense. So, yes, we try to ensure that you can roam and go to hospitals wherever you are, you know, within the country.
Okay, some people believe it's easier and better even to save their money towards emergencies instead of paying to insurance companies. Health insurance company.
No, at the end of the day, that is not financially friendly, because even paying for emergencies out of pocket in a Nigerian hospital, we know how much it's going to cost, even to have an ambulance, even to go to an ICU. So it's at the end of the day, you see that it's actually more, you know, risk averse, you know, to go with the HMO, because you are paying annually, and the amount you are paying is not even up to probably 5 or 2% of how much you actually have access to over the course of one. You have access to probably millions of naira, and you're paying just a token. So it's important to debunk that particular myth that says that it's expensive, because it's not expensive at all. It's quite the opposite.
So let's talk about family. This is Africa. We have mother living with us, father living with us, you have a house help, you have your dog, you have everybody in the house. You have a robust dependent. Exactly. So is the insurance can only cover me as a person or my family? How many people can I put as dependents in my family?
So we have different kinds of plans. We have individual plans, we have family plans as well. So for Bastion Health, our plan is, our family plan is the father, the mother, and 4 children, 21 or below. So if you have 4 children who are 21 or below, you can cover them. And more importantly, we also have what we call the senior citizens plan. We talked about mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, and all that. So it's important that we don't leave them out of the equation. So we also have the senior citizen plan, where we cater to people who are 70 and above as well.
How about domestic health?
Yes, we also have various plans too that can cater to them as well. You know, based on
just now that you mentioned the senior citizens plan.
Yes.
You know, those are not people battling with malaria.
Exactly.
Not the kind of
exactly. Yes, we've put that into account already while constructing that plan. Chronic illnesses, majorly the likes of hypertension, diabetes, and of course we also have to cater for mental health, not just for the senior citizen, for everybody as well, because we understand sometimes work stress, family stress can also have a great influence on mental health. So we also push that a lot to the people.
Thank you.
Yeah, would you say the health insurance in Nigeria is adequate, or we're still struggling to get a grasp?
I think we still have a long way to go. Just a handful of people, I think about 7 to 12% at the moment actually have health insurance in Nigeria, some sort of health insurance. But with the new NHIA Act, where it mandates that everybody, every citizen and every legal resident of Nigeria should have some sort of health insurance plan. I think it's getting, people are getting more aware of this, and health insurance space is getting more innovative and creative to be able to, bring people into the business.
Thank you very much. Any final words that you want to say concerning your brand, Bastion Health?
Oh, yes. Bank with Bastion Health, as I would say. We are available on all social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, at Bastion Health. And, of course, you can reach out to our 24/7 customer care team at 0800 Bastion.
Thank you so much. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll bring in our next guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Sedap Supreme Noodles is here for you. Because only fine ingredients go into Sedap Supreme Chicken Essence to give it that truly delicious chicken taste. Sedap Supreme tasty chicken noodles with real chicken essence, capturing the Sedap Supreme tasty chicken goodness. Sedap Supreme Noodles, the essence of tasty chicken goodness. Also available in rich spices variant. Be Supreme Nigeria.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Captain Sandra speaking. Right now, we are flying from Lagos to United Kingdom. We'll be taking off in
10 minutes. Strap in your seatbelt and get ready for the air ride.
Every kid is amazing at something. But we call amazing kids Amazinators. Feed your kids with the Golden Penny Amazing Day cereal. It contains protein, fiber, calcium, and vitamin A, which gives your kids the power of 4 to nurture them to greatness. I am Captain Amazing, captain for amazing kids who become
Amazinators.
Amazing Day cereal. Nurture the amazing.
Maliciously good, maliciously good. Whether it's your chips or sandwich, yam fries or jollof rice, salad, pasta or platter, they make it taste so nice. Now you all get the bama, you all get the taste. Now I can tell you any day that everything tastes better.
Maliciously good.
Mealtime is game on. Meet my Sure Bet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team.
Mom, why did we not use this before?
Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is the director of Kpakpando Language Hub, Nwonyemazi. She will be talking about Kpakpando language on the show today. Welcome to the show, Nwonyemazi.
Cha-cha-cha Igbo kwenu.
Yeah.
Cha-cha-cha Nigeria kwenu.
Yeah.
Uwari ne kwezuono.
Welcome to the show. Good to have you. We love the energy.
Thank you.
So tell us about Kpakpando Language Hub.
Okay, so Kpakpando Language Hub is an online Igbo language hub. It's a registered educational organization. Yeah. Yes, where we teach Igbo language to people online.
Nice.
People of any age. Yes. And we just recently had a branch where we now affiliate with a sister organization in Canada, where we now teach people who want to learn Yoruba. But that is for those who want.
Yes.
Yes. So we have that now. But basically, Kpakpando Language Hub teaches Igbo language to anybody interested anywhere in the world online.
So are you a professional teacher or you just teach it because you're Igbo?
I'm a professional teacher. I'm a language teacher. And then I'm a curriculum expert.
Nice.
So I analyze curriculum, I design it, I implement it, I evaluate it, you know, and then I just apply it to Igbo language. So I can teach anybody of any age the Igbo language online.
Nice. Okay, how long has the Kpakpando Language Hub existed for?
It has existed since 2017.
Okay.
Yes, we've been there. We started with physical classes, and then we now moved on to online classes when the COVID broke out.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. What else do you promote? You know, I know you handle basically the languages, but what other aspects of the culture, the Igbo culture, do you promote in Kpakpando?
Okay, so basically language, but then we had to look for diverse ways of, you know, promoting the Igbo culture and language. First of all, we have the Igbo tunes. IGBO, TOONS.
Okay.
So it's there on YouTube. We do cartoons. Yes, we do Igbo cartoons. Igbo tunes.
Yeah.
So yes, if you have a baby or anybody, you can go to Igbo tunes and then you watch. And then we also started, we created a mass choir. So we gathered children from the ages of 5 to 17.
Nice.
And so we now release, we sing songs and we dance. So our first single is coming out on Thursday by 6 p.m.
So how does somebody become a member? Because this is done they sweet me, and I want to learn so that I can be speaking with my neighbors.
You register.
Okay.
You register. If you go to our website.
Criteria, age, anything?
No, like from 4 years.
Okay.
My youngest student in the diaspora is 4 years. Okay. The oldest about 36 years.
Okay.
So it's just from 4 where you can start talking. Then to.
Can I ask you why? Why Igbo language? Why did you think it was necessary for us to begin to teach our indigenous languages?
Okay, so I advocate for cultural education.
Okay.
I have a passion for our culture. It's beyond Igbo. I want to see children speak their language because it's going. You know, it's gradually going. So I said, when I started with Igbo language, others will be inspired to start doing theirs for their own children in their own languages as well.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So I know that you having a concert.
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Okay. So we're having an Igbo Christmas concert. Woo! Yes. At the Lagos Continental Hotel.
Nice.
Victoria Island.
Okay.
And that concert, when coming, you have just look at me now.
Yes.
Try.
Yes.
Try and look.
That's the code.
Iboti.
I love it.
Are we in Yes, now you should come.
So what
let's find about
Yes, you go to www.papandohub.com. The ticket is there.
Okay.
Yeah, you see where the flyer is where it pops on the website. You click on the link. You can get as many tickets as you want just with one click.
Is it the same website for the camp registration?
Yes, we have an Igbo Christmas camp.
Okay.
So we know a number of children are coming in from the diaspora. We know some are here who also want to, engage physically. So that's why we did that camp. To register for that camp as well, you have to go to www.papandohub.com. You'll see the flyer, you click on the link, and then you register.
Activities, what's going to be happening?
Look, it's going to be fun. Like the one we had in August, we brought people who cooked Igbo dishes for the children.
Okay.
Basically, myself and my teachers, we teach the language itself. And then we now brought in fun activities. So every day we had a cook who would come and teach us one Igbo delicacy or the other. We brought Igbo dancers. And we also showed children documentaries to know about their culture. Yes, to know about their culture. Different aspects. So, and then we did workouts. With Igbo songs, so while Igbo songs are playing, we're dancing.
I can imagine.
And it's actually luxurious. We usually use a beautiful apartment where they have good comfort. Yes.
Going back to the concert, what are the side attractions of the concert? What are just going to be singing? What exactly is going to happen at the concert?
So first of all, we are bringing Emma Revelation.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about Emma Revelation. They are the grooving, heavy hits Igbo Christian gospel musicians we have now in Nigeria and the world at large. Yes, we are bringing Frank Edwards. Nice. We are bringing Lillian Neji. Okay. We are bringing a group. We have about 2 groups of Ogene instrumentalists. So yes, it's going to be fun, and then we're going to have red carpets for children. Actually, my focus is the younger generation.
Right. Yeah.
But then we are bringing parents as well because the children cannot come by themselves.
Yeah.
So when the children are coming, let them come well dressed in the Igbo regalia and then have good time in the presence of God.
Oh, I love it.
How many days is this camp? This
camp is 15th to 18th.
15th to 18th.
15th, 16th, 17th, yes, of December. 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th.
Out of school.
Yes, it's holiday period.
So children who are totally they're not Igbo, they've never heard the word of Igbo in their entire life. Can they come so I can learn?
That's why I'm here.
How about a young man eyeing an Igbo babe and thinking?
Look, let me tell you, people in the diaspora, they bring their Oyibo wives for me.
Okay.
They want to teach online.
Wow.
So anybody.
Okay, so I need your website and social media handles. I want to send link to my friend before she goes back to
take a picture. It's on the screen.
Okay, it's on the screen. So www.papandohub.com. Yes. If you go there, you will see anything. If you want to register, my number is there on the flyers.
So it's Papa and on Instagram as well.
Affordability income.
It's affordable.
It's sure.
It's affordable. You know, good things are not cheap.
Yeah.
But if you want quality, being a curriculum expert, I break it down, you know, so that you can imbibe it very well.
So adults like us that want to learn Igbo, can we also cover just the children?
Just register. For which one now?
For the language, some of us want to learn.
Register online.
Okay.
You understand? It's just to get us.
But the concept for the children.
The concept is for children and adults.
Okay.
How long would you say it takes like an average person to learn the language when they join?
Yeah, I usually advise 2 years. No, calm down, relax.
You have to be consistent.
Relax.
Of course.
I'm a curriculum expert. I won't rush you. I won't deceive you.
Okay.
So one step at a time. One step at a time. Now, why I say 2 years, also remember that there are people who we have different learning abilities. So those who can learn faster, pick faster. Those who have a slower pace, so so I give you 2 years, you're able to speak if you are consistent.
Yes.
Don't just start and stop and say, I'm not doing again. When you start, be consistent, and then some parents will say, the child is not speaking, be patient. Learning is a gradual process.
I have to ask you about your name. Is that your birth name, or that's just like a title?
My name is Joyce Chinwendu.
But she's Maz's wife.
But then, I married a man from Arondi Zog.
Okay.
Then a man is called Maz.
Okay.
Mr. Then the wife is Munye Maz. And the
wife
daughter,
of Mr.
Yes, and the daughter of the Maz is called Ada Maz.
So I know because like I said, I have plenty Igbo neighbors that there are different variants to the language, just as we have the Jebus and all of that in Yoruba. So which one is the formal one that you're teaching, or are you able to dive into any area of?
I do the central Igbo. But then, yes, the central. Yes, the central Igbo.
Read and write.
But because of my expertise, I also take into cognizance the different dialects. So sometimes you could be teaching a child how to say my name is. The child will say I'll teach Ahambo, but an Anambra child will say Afambo. I don't jettison it.
We say Afambo.
I don't tell the child, hey, say Ahambo. No. So I'll say Afambo is correct. That's your dialect. Keep saying it. So I allow them, when I teach in the central Igbo, if they want to express themselves, they use their dialect, is welcomed. What I do is I tell the people in the class that this is his or her own dialect.
So for reading and writing, they have to maintain the central. Yes. So you teach, while you are learning the language as well, somebody can choose to read and write.
Because you must read and write while learning.
Okay.
You have to take notes, because you have to write. I make sure you write.
So are your teachers all certified, or just everybody just is it just a passion or a voluntary thing?
No, my teacher's certified. And then I train them as well. We do from time to time we have trainings.
Any other thing you want to tell us, because we're running out of time?
Yes, so please, we're expecting you, our viewers, Biko, go and get your tickets for the Igbo Christmas concert. Go to our website, if you have your friends, even if you're not Igbo and you just want to have that Igbo vibe, go to our website and then get the tickets. And then also you can go to, we have our handle on social media. Our handle is IGBOTOONS, Igbo Tools. So if you go to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you follow us on Igbo to see us. Papando Language Hub.
On Instagram, Facebook.
The concert is on the 19th of December at the Lagos Continental Hotel.
19th.
Yes, 19th.
Let's hail you again. Let's hail you.
Cha-cha-cha Igbo kwenu. Cha-cha-cha Igbo kwenu.
Yeah.
Kwenu.
Yeah.
Kwenu.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Hi, this is Dr. Abiola Salami, the world-class performance strategist, inviting all business leaders and career professionals to start 2025 on the right foot with forward-thinking strategies and powerful connections at the New Year Kickoff Summit 2025. Visit www.kickoffsummit.com to register. Until I see you there, keep rocking your world like a champion.
Everyone dreams of a better tomorrow. A tomorrow fueled by hope for the future. ARM has everything you need to go from where you are to where you need to be. Join us. Let's face tomorrow together. ARM. Invested in your tomorrow.
It is easily absorbed and rehydrates you faster. Replenish your ions with Pocari Sweat Iron Supply Drink.
Mealtime is game on. Meet my Sure Bet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team.
Mom, why did we not use this before?
Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC.
Thanks for staying with us. So our focus today is to discuss some of the enormous pressures to have children here in Nigeria, even with the highest fertility rate in the world. Is alarming. Many couples still struggle to conceive, and when that happens, the woman takes the brunt of the blame for not conceiving. Now, there's something called cryptic pregnancy. It's a recognized medical phenomenon in which a woman is unaware of her pregnancy until late stages. This term, as we have come to find out, has been hijacked by quite a bit of scammers, making ignorant women actually believe they are pregnant. So the BBC Eye recently launched a documentary on cryptic pregnancy scam targeting women in Nigeria. Joining us to speak on the findings in the documentary via Zoom is Yemisi Adegoke, senior reporter, BBC News. Welcome to the show, Yemisi.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show. So, tell us a bit about this phenomenon, cryptic pregnancy, especially the scammers here in Nigeria. What is it about? What did you find?
So as you said, the term cryptic pregnancy is a recognized medical term which refers to women who are pregnant and go throughout the pregnancy without knowing that they're pregnant. But this is something that has been hijacked in Nigeria by scammers who essentially trick women into believing that they're pregnant when they aren't. They give them various types of medication, which sometimes makes their body swell. And they believe that they are carrying children. These scammers will tell these women not to go to traditional doctors. They'll tell them not to get any tests, so no ultrasounds, no blood tests. They're told that if they take these tests and they come back negative, that's normal. They're told that they're not carrying their babies in their womb, they're carrying their babies in their back, in their waist. Sometimes these pregnancies last for up to 2 years, and when the time comes for delivery, they are told that the pregnancy can only be induced, or labour can only be induced, rather, by these doctors themselves. So it's a really complicated scam that preys on women that are desperate to have children.
Yeah, so I watched the documentary, and it was shocking to see that even educated women fell for this. And in your opinion, what do you think is responsible for people who are supposed to know better to fall for such a scam, especially when you're hearing something that, like, you're going to be carrying the baby at your back or at your waist, and then you see people who are falling for this and spending a huge amount of money to get this fake pregnancy?
Well, I think that's the thing about this scam. It's usually the victims that fall for this are typically educated. They are people that are wealthy. This is not a cheap scam. This costs millions and millions of naira, this so-called treatment. I think the reasons people fall for it are a mix of things. There is the desperation to have a child. Many of these couples have been trying to conceive for many, many years without success. They're introduced to this scam by people that have been through it and have come out the other end with a child. So they're convinced that it works. There's also the scammers. They're very sophisticated. You know, there's a reason they're telling them not to go to hospitals, not to get medical tests, to trust them and nobody else. And then there's also the religious element, which I don't think you can separate from this. You know, the type of Christianity that's practiced in Nigeria is heavily focused on the idea of the miraculous, that miracles are possible. That's why, you know, these babies are referred to as miracle babies. And if you are of the belief that, you know, miracles are possible, then some people will ask, well, why isn't this possible? Why can't there be a pregnancy that lasts for 13, 14, 15 months? And ultimately, because with this scam, these women do end up with children, to them it's something that works. So all these sort of factors feed into why people are falling for this.
Yeah, see, you know, I'm curious. Why did you decide to investigate this story? Was it someone you had come in contact with? Or was there just, you know, something you had seen, data you had seen that prompted you to investigate this story?
So this was a huge team effort, and all of us had heard about this story. I mean, I first heard about this story on social media. There was a doctor tweeting about an experience he had with a patient who said that she had had this miraculous pregnancy treatment. And to me, it sounded completely outlandish. I couldn't believe it. My colleagues, Chiagozie and Abere, who you see in the film as the undercover reporters, had also been doing their own research, and our producer in London. So all of us kind of came together on this. But you know, we were surprised to kind of see the scale. It's difficult to put a concrete number because it is so secretive. The nature of the scam means that people don't want this information out there. But, you know, as you see in the film, in the clinic, there are dozens and dozens of women waiting for this treatment. And that's just one clinic on one Saturday morning. Exactly. So you can imagine how many of these clinics exist across the country and how many potentially dozens and dozens of women are being duped by this.
Okay, so did you find this linked to some form of baby factories in any of during this investigation?
Yes, so one of the big questions that we sought to answer throughout this was, where are the babies coming from? Because we know that these children are not biologically related to these cryptic mothers, so the babies are coming from somewhere. And it was the Commissioner for Women's Affairs in Anambra State who made that tie for us that, you know, she said quite definitively that there is no cryptic pregnancy without baby trafficking. And anyone who's gone through this process, the children that they have are children that are trafficked. And that either means that they're coming from baby factories, as you mentioned, the facility in the film that, you know, you can see the young girls that were being basically held captive there. Right. And sometimes brothels too. If young sex workers, if they get pregnant, their babies are often taken and sold. So right. there is a link to trafficking there.
Yeah, see, that's one of the problems I'm having with this entire episode, because I can't seem to wrap my head around calling these women victims, because for me they seem to be complicit. First of all, you told you're pregnant and there's no visible pregnancy, and then 9 months after or 2 years after, when you accept a baby, shouldn't they also be arrested or somehow complicit in this entire scam?
I mean, I think that's part of the sort of difficulty, I think, with this story. I think these women are in very vulnerable states a lot of the time. There are, as we all know, massive challenges and stigma attached to infertility, particularly women. We spoke to women that have been abused, ostracized by their families, have faced all kinds of, you know, derogatory and demeaning treatment because they've been unable to conceive. And that pushes some people to extremes. I think there are some women who genuinely believe that these are their children. Others maybe are a little bit more, you know, aware that there's something dodgy going on. But I think that, you know, it's difficult to fully kind of villainize these people when you kind of hear how vulnerable they are. And that's not to excuse, you know, what they're doing. But I think once you kind of hear these stories and know how difficult life is for some of these women, and that desperation, I mean, desperation pushes people to do all kinds of things, and that's not to excuse it. I just think it's it's a little bit messy.
Okay.
You know, just to understand a bit, because, you know, in the introduction, we were told that they would give these women some injections and some treatments. So I'm curious, were you able to find out what injections and medicines that they gave them, and how did they affect their health, or if it was just some placebo, you know? And then when they get the children, do they take them for hospital visits? Is there any point in time, do you have any point in time to show that maybe they check the DNA and realize that they are not their biological children? You know, how does it eventually end up for these mothers and children?
So the medication question, that's a very good question. We actually did try to get the medication tested. Our undercover reporter was given, she went to the clinic twice and was given medication on 2 occasions. So we did try to take it to the lab to get it tested. The problem is that you need a very large sample in order to test, and we simply didn't have enough medication for them to categorically determine what the medication is, which was very unfortunate. So I don't want to speculate on what it could potentially be. What we do know is that it does cause swelling. That a lot of the women that we spoke to that have been through the process reported that, you know, their stomach starts swelling. There was a lady who said that, you know, after she'd taken the medication, she felt like she couldn't breathe. So there are potential health implications. We just can't really say what, unfortunately. And as for the children, in the film, you do see a woman with a baby that she had through this cryptic pregnancy process. She did actually take the child for a DNA test because her husband's family did not believe that this child was biologically theirs. The DNA test did come back negative. Her and her husband said that their cryptic doctor told them that the DNA would change within a year. So they believe...
I don't even know to laugh
they believe that the DNA will change within a year. And I mean, if you watch the film, you'll kind of see the reaction of the commissioner and sort of everybody in the room. But they are adamant that the DNA will change within a year to reflect their DNA, and that he is the young boy is their biological child.
Okay. So, this is a very sad one for me. Yeah. Because I can relate. I've seen women in this category a lot. My fear is, in order to give them their babies, they have to go through childbirth, labor, or cesarean sessions. Have you seen women who went the entire hall? Did you see them during this recording? And there's possibility of harvesting an organ if you're, you know, allowing doctors to do invasive procedure on you. Did you see any damaging result as a result of this in any of the women?
So what we have been told in terms of labor is that sometimes these women are given an injection and they fall asleep and they wake up with a cesarean-like incision on their stomachs. Other times they say that they have been told to push, to sort of lie back and push. And ultimately they're given a child at the end. We haven't heard of any sort of complications around that yet, but those are the stories that we have heard, that it's either they're given medication, they go to sleep, and they wake up with cuts on their stomachs, or they're given something and told to push.
So the particular doctor that was investigated, I would like to know what is happening to her at the moment. What evidence were you able to get to probably prosecute her in line with the government? And how do you think, because I strongly believe that if we still continue the narrative in Nigeria where if you do not have a husband, you are not able to have a child, you're less than a woman, we're definitely going to have people put in this desperate mode. And this people will always keep, you know, scamming them of their money to give them what they want, right? So how do you also think that we can begin to, you know, change the mentality of Nigerians, the society at large, and how we treat women who have infertility issues?
So with Dr. Ruth, as you saw with the conclusion of the film, you know, she told our undercover reporter that she was pregnant. We did a pregnancy test on our undercover reporter. She wasn't pregnant. What happens to her now is down to the authorities. We are reporters, we are journalists. Our job is to expose wrongdoing. We do not have the power to prosecute. That is down to the government. to take that on. It's not our job. Our remit doesn't stretch that far. But you know, we are waiting to see what will happen to her, if anything.
Right.
With regard to, you know, the stigma, I think that's a really important point, and I think the authorities can do a lot in terms of prosecuting people that they find are responsible for these kinds of scams. But if the attitudes don't change towards women and fertility, stigma around adoption, and other paths to parenthood, we're going to continue to see scams like this. This is why these types of scams thrive, because there is that abuse and ostracization leveled at women who, for whatever reason, are unable to have children.
Let me see. So the reason why I was struggling is because I've actually experienced this in my own life. So let me show you with you my own story. My brother was supposed to get married to a woman. They were supposed to be dating. Now, for whatever reason, she said she got pregnant. And because she got pregnant, my family started planning a wedding. So immediately, she was telling us she was about 4 months pregnant, and her tummy was actually visibly inflated. So the entire family put together an introduction. In fact, it was almost an engagement. It wasn't an engagement, it was an introduction. Her house was in Lekki. We went there with family to meet the family. My brother came with her. She's the husband's wife, or husband's family. Anyways, we did the introduction. After that, about a month after, my brother tried to follow her for antenatal, but she keeps saying, don't bother, you don't have to follow me for antenatal. At some point, when she was supposed to be maybe 6 months in, he then found out that there was nothing in her tummy. She was never pregnant. But she had an inflated because she was actually taking some of these hormones. So that's why I keep saying that it's good to see some women are victims. But in some cases, some women use it to scam others because he had to just call off everything. In fact, he went as bad into depression because he was expecting twins. He painted the children's room, boy, girl. He bought cribs. I mean, we all were expecting babies. The whole family, he was really excited, painted the room, bought clothes.
She did the scam.
She scammed him. It was a family thing. So
that might be
so in that situation, so it's deliberate. So there are some people who know they can take hormones to scam somebody into get married.
Advice is the stigma. So I had a close friend who had what is called false pregnancy. She had gone in 2 months because she didn't see her period, which had happened to me. I had gone 56 days without my period, and it was a scan that showed I was pregnant. So hormonally, things can happen. She had gone in 2 months and found out a pregnancy test that was positive, came back home excited. We had all celebrated. 4 months into her pregnancy, she's, of course, growing. Her body parts are growing. And then we said, let's do a scan. And a scan showed that there was no pregnancy. And so she got into a desperate search for validation in one hospital to the next, because the in-laws, you know the pressure on women. How will she tell them? And she visibly looks it. So how does she... And we had to hold her hand, assure her that we would love her through whether or not she has a baby. Till date, she's different angles. She's not had a baby. How do you advise, you know, people, society to treat some cases that are innocent, especially so that the women don't get desperate and find a hospital like this and just buy a baby?
I know, and it's not really a question to you, Yemisi. It's just a conversation.
Well, yes,
I don't want to put you on the spot. But let me see if she wants to say something. Yemisi, you want to say something to this?
No,
I mean, I think, it's complicated. I think what we've seen women who definitely do believe this, and whether that's them sort of suspending the rational part of their brain because they're just so desperate to believe this. Like I said, I think desperation really drives people to do crazy things they wouldn't normally do. And I think if you're being pushed to the point where you're sort of taking any kind of medication that you don't know what it is, that you're willing to risk your health, you're willing to put yourself through all sorts, taking on a trafficked child, I mean, I think you have to ask what would drive someone to do that. That's what does that say about society? That we're in a country, or we have a culture that would push women, that the stigma is so bad that they feel that they cannot live without doing this, that they have to. You know, this is a path that they would choose, rather than just saying, you know, maybe we should adopt, or maybe we should look for another path to become parents, or maybe it's just not in the cards for us to become parents. Why is it that women are being driven to do this? I think is sort of the bigger question.
So this isn't a question too particularly, but it's about, you know, where I hope this investigation would lead. That definitely that doctor must have some association with like a kidnap ring or something like that. Yes, baby trafficking. there's a phenomenon, of course, here in Nigeria where we have baby factories. And usually the story we have is young teenage girls are, taken to a special place, and then, they give birth to their babies that they hand over, sometimes for free, sometimes for some amount of money. And I hope that your investigation would lead to a serious investigation into that and see how we can stop that from continuing in our country. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Yemisi. We have to let you go at this point, but wishing you all the best with this investigation and hope that, indeed, as Mariam said, that something does come out of it. Any final words on your end before we let you go?
No, thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everybody that has watched the film. It's still available on the BBC Africa YouTube channel. The name is Nigeria's Miracle Baby Scammers.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Strength, pride, optimism, happiness runs through our veins. High blood pressure shouldn't. 1 in 3 adult Nigerians may have high blood pressure. Do you? Omron provides a solution for checking your blood pressure anytime, anywhere for you to avoid critical cardiovascular diseases. Get your Omron blood pressure monitor today and take control of your health. Distributed by New Heights Pharmaceutical. Omron, all for healthcare.
Mealtime is game on. Meet my SureBet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team.
Mom, why did we not use this before?
Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Yanga, they come.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest, and on TV Feather.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of cryptic pregnancy, baby factories, and the scams that goes around across Nigeria and we'd like to just hear your own thoughts on it. You can call us on the numbers on your screen so that we can hear your stories. 081-0764-1679, 090241-63440. You can send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. So we've been hearing about these things, and I mean, people have been scammed. As I said, me, I had a person, I was saying that even Tokpo was at the introduction. I think Jumoke was there. I'm not sure if you were there. So we all came, thinking that we're having it. So some people might have done it intentionally. Others may not have done it intentionally because they thought they were actually pregnant. But there are different reasons. So what are your thoughts on how these people, these scammers, are using that term, cryptic pregnancy, which you can find online?
Yes.
They're now using to scam Nigerians, and Nigerians are falling for it.
Okay, so in the olden days in our custom, when you have a cryptic pregnancy, you just wait and then suddenly get pain and then you go into labor. You can't explain it. Some people see their periods for that 9 months. Some people, they'll say, maybe a part of your area was swelling. In my custom, they'll say, carry the baby for yash, the belly for yash. Because during that period, you have a bigger bump.
Yeah.
Some is the bigger arm. They'll say carry the belly for arm. So we have accepted the use. And so they just simply pick something we're used to and something that is well believed in Africa here and carry this. If you carry a pregnancy for 3 years, it's a miracle baby now. You're just in your pregnancy state. You've not seen your period for 3 years and suddenly you're in labor, rush to the hospital, baby pops out of you. It's a miracle baby. So we've accepted this condition. These are things that we've seen. I have grandmothers whose children I know who are living in testament.
Not just giving it the label, cryptic pregnancy.
So, we both don't name and cryptic, but it's a phenomenon well accepted in Africa. We've seen it too many times not to believe it. So when somebody packages it and you have seen somebody, God forbid, if it was me, I would fall for this thing. Because I know a grandmother whose son is a patriarch in our family today, whose mother carried the pregnancy for 3 years. Well celebrated in my village, yes.
Wow.
And it's a living testament today. I would have thought if somebody were telling me that my baby was in my bum, because it's something I've heard all my life. Growing up, I would have said, my yash big. Okay, Nadia, I carried
Never heard it.
Even with a flat tummy, I would believe it. It's a term commonly used in certain places. So I would have fallen for this kind of scam. And even if you convince me as a spiritualist that it's a lie, I would have told you because I have seen it and the person is living that it's possible. So we must deal with that part first.
I hear you, about that, and I can hear how if someone who is not really educated or illiterate or not well exposed can fall for that. But this particular investigation talks about people who are quite educated, quite wealthy, should know better, who are falling for this. So I know that this really has to do with just desperation. And when you find yourself, when you're desperate about anything, you are vulnerable to anything. You believe anything. Some of them to the point that you even take your child, like some of the things that they ask them to do, if you are not desperate, you would immediately know that this is not true. This is a red flag. You cannot be associated with this. But when you have tried everything and, you even have some people say to you, this is your fault. And this particular one that you can do to help save your face or save your family, you're refusing to do, almost to the point that they'll sell it to you as if you're selfish. So those sort of people I can see how they can fall for it. But I don't think it's because they are ignorant of that this is, they're ignorant about the process, the process of pregnancy. They understand that pregnancies take 9 months, a little bit over for some people. But, the whole scheming, especially for those who have gone away for a year or 2 years. Now, the other part of this scam that is worrisome, as I mentioned, is the drugs that they take. And when she also mentioned that some of them are giving cuts on their bodies, meaning they will you into a room and perform some form of surgery over you. Like the desperation to put yourself through that, So really, the way to solve this is society, Nigerian society, that's all of us. What are the conversations we should be having? Even in churches, when we call for people for their, what they call fruit of the womb and things like that, what are we truly perpetuating? So let's sit down and think about it, the words that we say to each other, and really, that's
part of society. I think what BC said earlier about, we need to actually ensure that these people are arrested, are prosecuted, because we need to see it, because these scammers they're cleaning out.
And we need to step down on the pressure that we put on one another. It also has to do with how we have laid a lot of emphasis on what makes a woman. So your identity is not complete as a woman if you do not have a husband, if you do not have a child. You are seen as less of a woman than another person who has a child and has a husband. We need to step down on that. And that is one of the reasons we see women who are educated and yet suspend all their cognitive abilities to process information and fall into this kind of scam. Then the crave for miracles is also another problem. And she alluded to that in her analogy, where we like to believe that this miracle, once this miracle man just comes, you know, it can suspend everything and the child will just show up. And so they tell us to do these things and don't follow logic, don't go to the hospitals to check. Even when you go and check in the hospitals, you will not see the child because it's hiding in your back or it's hiding in your arm. And educated people will assimilate this and accept it just because we are hoping and believing in miracles. So our religious houses need to do better in terms of how they get women to understand that if it's not your time, it's not your time. If you have to go to the hospital, follow the right routines. Go for your checkups. You know, go for your antenatal. You know, just go the natural way. And if peradventure you do not get pregnant, it's also okay. It doesn't stop you. There's a part of the scripture that says the woman who does not have her own child has multitudes as children. No, it could also be a part of it. But why we frown at that is because we want to be able to carry our own. And I know people will come and say, because you have your own children. That's not what I'm saying. But if we step down on the pressure on women, we will find that women will still be happy, will still enjoy their marriages, even if children are not there, and they will not be desperate to fall into scams like this.
Let me take Foluke from London. Thanks for calling, Foluke.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, you're live. Yes, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I used to practice in Nigeria as a medical doctor. And I can tell you that is real. I used to have a patient who had waited for 11 years for a baby. And she just called me up one day and told me that she had malaria symptoms and that she needed me to treat her. So I said, okay, meet me in the hospital. I was working with FMC. She came over and she told me she was pregnant, 5 months. I was like, wow. 5 months. So she looked fat, but I was wondering, pregnant 5 months? Okay. She said, all right, what do you want me to do for you? She said, okay. And she was going to Abuja the next day to have a steroid injection. I was like, why did you go from Akure to Abuja for tetanus injection? She said, oh, her pregnancy is a special one. And her doctor has told her that she must not take any injection elsewhere and she must not do a scan. I was like, if you are 5 months pregnant, you want to travel from Akure to Abuja, that's a lot of risk. Don't worry. Let me give you the TC and you call your doctor. So I gave her the TC. I was not worried. Because she was looking, I was like, the lady cannot be 5 months pregnant. I now told her, okay, my lady, can you let us just do a scan and be sure the baby is fine? She said, no, that she was not allowed to have a scan. I said, no. Okay, let's do a pregnancy test first. And we did a pregnancy test and it was negative. However, she had been told that when it's time for her to deliver, she must come to that hospital to deliver. And the plan was for them to cut her, just like the other lady said.
Oh, look here. So oh my goodness.
Her friend's case is a case of somebody being aware. When you have subscribed to that arrangement, because apart from those who fall victim of these cryptic pregnancy scammers, there are those who subscribe to baby factories, subscribers who are waiting for their babies, who go in, they take the hormones in clinics to show family and society that they are carrying pregnancies, and at the end of the day, bring in babies that are not of their husbands into the family. So there are those women.
That's a scam now.
That's a scam. But I must agree with BC that society needs to step down the pressure on women. And there are ways to assist a woman going through infertility to give birth, because you need her mentally to be positive.
Yeah.
When I was going through that, one person that stood out for me, aside my immediate family members, was my father-in-law. Never once did he say something negative about the situation of my waiting. And when I refused to go in for my treatments, he would say, go now, see babies all over you. So that kind of positive statement can change a woman's perspective. My friend, on the other hand, even when she later got pregnant, real pregnancy, and she was losing her babies preterm, her father-in-law would say to her, I don't know why we're waiting for your baby. You're going to lose them anyway. You're barren. So such negative statements cannot get a woman to be positively upright to fight through this thing. I was told that I wait for 10 years. I got my baby in 4 years. Some people cannot because the pressure at home is so much that they're constantly in the negative mindset. Hold their hands through whatever waiting and make the waiting worth it. They will have their babies. And we must, as society, be shielding to us. Try to understand what they are going through and try to understand how you can come in, help, accompany them to hospitals. You know, don't let them fall into
alone.
Of sickness.
Let me take this call from Kate. Thanks for calling. You're live, Kate.
Good morning, Moralia.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Kate from Ipaja. This critical pregnancy thing, I'm a witness. Right now, I've been pregnant for a year plus.
Okay.
It's not that I have not had issue, I've not been pregnant before. But the thing there is, I've gone to hospital. The very first time I got pregnant, I noticed I was pregnant. I went to the hospital. It was positive. After some months, I decided to start antenatal. Going through the normal process, I noticed they said there was nothing. But if you see me, the signs, everything is there. But the thing there is, if I get yes now, they say no pregnancy. No pregnancy. I don't understand. But I am feeling like my hips, my thighs, behind my lower abdomen. The same thing. I'm feeling it. Sometimes I'll menstruate, but it has been for a month now. I've not been menstruating. And my stomach is there. I don't know. They said, Cryptic, I've gone to hospitals. I don't know. I never took a paracetamol from anybody. I never did. I don't even know what it is. So I don't know whether some people fall for it, but I am talking to you. I'm a living witness. I'm carrying it now, live and direct.
Okay, Kate, let me get Nima to ask you a question. 1 second, Kate.
So, I just said that I had someone who had this condition, and it was called false pregnancy. It's a situation where your body presents pregnancy symptoms without actually having a baby in your uterus. So you're actually growing your tummy, your breast is heavy, you're even, other signs, swollen feet in some cases, and you're showing all the signs. So it's important that you see a gynae at this stage. As long as they're telling you at antenatal there's no baby in there, you need to see a gynecologist. There's an hormone they give you that your body corrects itself and the false symptoms disappear, and then you have to do some form of exercises. But you can't continue to live under this
pretense.
The false, I don't want to call it pretense.
Belief. False belief.
Yes, because your body is presenting. So hormonally, women vary. The spectrum is wide. Yeah. We have different PCOS, and different wide.
So that she doesn't.
Kate, are you still there?
Yeah, I hope you don't feel too bad because it's quite it happens to a number of women. So it's not that it's just particularly
not you alone. Yeah.
And thank God for science. There are different therapies that can help you, get over this.
There was something that Pastor Sam Adeyemi, Tokwe's pastor, said during their recent event, leadership event. He said that God is made up of two sides, the spiritual and the physical, and the wisdom. He called the wisdom. Okay. There's some nations that prioritize wisdom over supernatural. Those nations, they're able to merge it, but they're able to see things logically. But in nations like ours that we prioritize spirituality, we only see the spiritual. We don't see the reasoning. We don't see the wisdom part. So we only focus on the miraculous. And that's why we can easily just believe that this thing would happen. It is me. It's my turn. However that baby is going to come spiritually, I would have this child. In 9 months, the baby will come miraculously to me. And everybody will celebrate me. So we don't even try to rationalize how did this be? Whose baby? Who formed this thing?
We are not even prioritizing the spiritual properly. That's not how it's done. We're not doing it well. We're prioritizing religion, not spiritual. Because with spiritual, you understand there's timing for everything. And with spiritual, you understand that not everything
will come the way you have wished it. It will come according to what your soul desires. So it's not everybody here, I've always said it, not everybody that has come to this incarnation would have a husband. And it's okay. It's not in your part, it's not in your part. Not everybody will have a child here, and it's okay. It's not in your part, it's not in your part. Your ability to understand that everything the universe gives to me is what is meant for me, and it's for my greater good, is spiritual. But we're not there. We are in a space where, because it is religion, we will force it to happen. See, if I pray today, it doesn't work. I go to mountain tomorrow, it's still there.
Yes, are you still there?
Hello?
No, I think it's Ezene. Are you there? That Ezene.
Yeah, I'm here, but I want to speak with the line people, Gongo, because whenever I try the number, I will not, before they will finish the signal, I will not, I want to say something.
Go ahead, please.
Hello, ma.
We can hear you. Go ahead, Ezene.
Okay, ma. Ma, please, this issue, my senior sister is having the issue. So, let me say, like 3 months ago, my sister, she said that that there is one man that is living in Owerri, that the man is selling children. So initial time, the person that directed me to the woman told me, she not told me that the woman they are selling children. So I called my sister. My sister said no, that she wants to use her own sperm to do it. So I said, I don't know this one, but I will look for. So, like, right now, I'm just looking for a solution, because that my sister now is living in Denmark, outside country. So, I'm just looking for a solution.
You understand?
Who?
Does this concern
Denmark?
I'm sure that sister in Denmark is going through something like this and has found a doctor somewhere in the East who's
that's promising a baby.
She's looking for solution.
What kind of solution? Isn't it still there? Okay, we lost her.
Yeah,
I really wanted to understand the kind of solution she's looking for.
In like someone is saying on YouTube here, and I've heard it before, that they call something Iju in Yoruba language, and when it's used on a woman, it makes her stomach swell or subdue intermittently. Some of these conditions, I was explaining this, an African way we see it. When you mentioned the wisdom and the miraculous. Recently, I met a doctor I spoke to. She's working in the UK. And we were explaining how a woman keeps losing her babies and she's not carrying them to term, but she's fertile. So I was explaining to her that Gani had said she's fertile, she doesn't have any problem, but her babies don't get to term. He said, do you know that it's possible for men to have resource factor, but medically, we have not researched on just that. You know, so we focus so much on women's resource factor, we did not know that men have it. So traditionally, I've heard the Ijebu say that they'll tell the woman, step out of your marriage and remarry. And I go talk for my friend. He almost cut our friendship.
Yes.
You know, step out and seek alternatives.
And see your husband.
Yeah, so I was going to also talk about the infertility that we've been talking about, and we have just
focused on women.
We have just focused on women, and we've forgotten that sometimes a woman carries the burden of the man's infertility. She's the one that is running up and down trying to look for a solution, even though he's the problem and he's sitting at home. So she would be so desperate to go to people like this, because he would not move. He feels that if there's no baby, there's someone else that can bring a baby for him, you know. And we have had situations where a woman who, maybe in her own case, she feels, well, we don't have a child, I'm willing to stay with this man. 5-10 years down the line, he brings a baby to her. Even though it's not his baby, but the other person was, in our own parlance, we say she was smart enough to sort the problem out and bring a baby. And so you find women who feel, before someone comes and sorts my issues out, let me go out and, you know, sort this baby.
Find a solution myself.
So men have to be part of this conversation. First, in the fertility, you must go with your wife and sort yourself out and be aware of what your issues are. But the second part of this is that in this selling of babies and everything, you find men. They are also, the scammers are making money out of women's issues.
Exactly. Let me take Ken. Ken from Asaba. Thanks for calling. You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right. I know somebody right now that is undergoing through this process right now. I know somebody, in fact, they told the lady that she's carrying twins, you know, that she needs to give them 5 million naira. Now, when the time is due, they're going to operate and remove the twins from her body. I'm looking at the lady, she's not pregnant. In fact, this is happening right in Monica right now. Her body is normal. There's no swelling on the part of the tummy. She's still going around doing her business. and she believes that she's pregnant. She's had twins, a boy and a girl. So this is a very big issue. And then the more you try to educate them, the more they see you as enemy of progress, because they need children, they need child. So please, we have to, this is a very big issue. And there's nothing I think anybody can do about this right now, because they themselves need children.
Thank you, Ken. I mean, I didn't even believe, this is my first time hearing this. I didn't realize how much
widespread it is.
Every single caller has somebody or somebody.
Yes, it happens. So I think we need to normalize adoption and surrogacy. And we need men to open their hearts to adoption and surrogacy. A lot of women don't want to hear that adoption because their men will say, it's not my child. You're bringing another person's child to my house. Now, also, we need to make the adoption process seamless. I've had people who have been in line to adopt children, and it's a Herculean task. They keep going back and forth. They're filling forms. Yes. Make it easier for people who you have tested that they have the capacity to raise children to be able to do that. See this case we're talking about now. Many of the people there actually have money. So it's not, you cannot, if you're poor, you cannot even afford some of these child trafficking services that you find yourself into. So why don't you go through the normal route? Yeah. Why don't you talk about surrogacy? Why don't you freeze your egg? Why don't we have this conversation, even in religious houses? Because I know that a lot of people will feel if it doesn't come from your womb, it is not a blessing. Excuse me, the brain for surrogacy was given by God in the first place. So we have the abilities to think and make life easy for us. It's not because we're trying to replace God, but He's the one that has given that. So make it open, make it normal, and remove the stigma on surrogacy is not your child or adoption is not your child. I see that a lot of women will be more open to accepting this, and that will reduce the pressure on what
go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, what makes baby factories and scamming places like this more popular is because you get to do it in secrecy. When you decide to go adoption, surrogacy routes, is that you have admitted to yourself that you have a problem. And we don't want to admit that we have that problem. So we'd rather find we need to find a discreet place that can sort our issues out, and then we'll come out, and then we're able to tell the world, look at what I've done. And this reminds me of a story I saw in the dailies, like a very long time ago, a woman in her 80s who had given birth. And the thing was all across our newspapers then, and they were celebrating her. Like at that time, nobody thought to investigate it, It's just part of our culture to accept things, as we say, the miraculous, things that do not seem possible to be possible.
But that woman's case was at the public hospital. It was at Luth. The video.
I don't know.
So let's cancel the possibility of, the instances I mentioned.
Yes.
Somebody is at the farm with an entire full farm of workers, falls down, goes into labor, and then has a baby.
No, that's real.
That's a cryptic condition.
Yeah.
It can be any. 1 in a million. Yes, one in every instance. When I was going through treatment, my doctor said PCOS 4 out of every 10 women. So we see the callers now. Yeah. 4 out of every 10.
But that's how they're able to
even surprised at almost every caller. So, as you said, it's quite widespread. I didn't even realize it was this bad. So you might even need to have a proper show on this.
So let's encourage women to take the investigations further.
Yeah.
If it sounds funny, because in today's world we can see this kind of examples that the BBC exposed. If it sounds funny, investigate further. Do not subscribe. Right. Don't let somebody play my
one part of this problem also that I'm thinking of all this DNA that we're doing, and people are realizing children are not theirs.
No, it might be this
from stuff like this.
Things like that.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up at this time, but
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So President Bola Tinubu is seeking to restructure the country's tax system. This new reform will scrap the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, and they'll be replacing it with a new company or a new agency called the Nigerian Revenue Service. Both chambers of the National Assembly have received 4 different executive bills. The President Tinubu is confident. He said, I'm confident that the bill, when passed, will encourage investment and boost consumer spending and stimulate Nigeria's economy. So joining us to discuss this further, the impact of this bill, economic, financial, business and policy development consultant, Dr. Paul Alaje is a chief economist and partner at SPM Professionals. You can also join the conversation, ask your questions about the new tax reform by calling us on 0810-7641-679 or tweet or comment on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. So, tax, we don't like to hear it. We don't like it. We don't love it. It is about like squeezing. Nigerians feel like they are being squeezed on all sides. So, Dr. Paul Alaje, how will this tax reform reduce the squeezing of Nigerians and yet empower the government with more revenue?
Well, thank you so much for having me. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, sir.
I feel I'm the only man here.
Yes,
you'll be fine, sir.
You're blessed among the women.
Well, first of all, the topic taxation is very important. And as an economist, we believe that it's account for what we call part of fiscal policy of government. Because if government don't earn revenue, there is no way government is going to invest in the economy. For those of us who study economics, we are particular about government income and expenditure. One of the key ways government earn money is through taxation. Now, Nigeria has been practicing, in fact, our tax structure is particularly not clear. Federal government is doing its own. You have state government with their IRS. That's for Lagos, is Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. We have different states doing all manner of stuff. We also have local governments collecting theirs, and we also have some people on the road. If you drive articulated vehicle, you might pay as much as 25 taxes. On the road, yes. So if you have a pickup, there is one that's local government, we ask you to pay half year, you have to pay to road safety, you have to pay all manner of charges.
Wow.
It is so cumbersome to do business. Now, all fault will be on the man in Abuja, the man in the middle, because uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. That's the person we are going to speak with. How do we reduce the burden? Perhaps this is why Taiwo Yedele's committee was set up by Mr. President, for them to look at the challenges. Taiwo Yedele and his team are majorly private sector individuals. People like me who have been in the field, they felt the concerns. They are also professionals. So how do we combine what is going on in the market affecting our people with the reality of what they should be doing and adding best practice to that? That is why perhaps this bill is going. And it's not the only one. We have another one that we introduced, Joint Tax Board, which majorly does not have legislation, but let's put legislation to it. And let's see how we're going to have an holistic and effective and efficient system of tax collection that will not kill the people. I understand when the issue of tax come on board, many people feel, oh, now government wants to collect more money. I am somebody who has particularly stay on the side of the people. But if there are no infrastructure, then the people will also suffer. So there is point of fairness on how do we provide the required things for citizens and for a nation to grow.
Okay, sir. Nigeria Revenue Service, right? That's NRS is what
Yes,
we are
NRS.
proposing. I would like to understand in totality what it means. Are we dissolving the FIRS? Are we scrapping their office? Are we sacking the people who have been working there? Or we are rebranding it in terms of name? And how are we merging? Are we now saying, okay, we're just going to be focusing, that's the NRS now, focusing only on the federal tax, or only on state tax, or only on local government? I would like to just have an understanding of what this is.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. For me, I think there is no merger. Okay. And I also think that based on the bill and the excerpt that we have seen in the public space, we are more or less changing the name FRS. Okay. So, but to change the name, because FRS did not just come by itself. It came with the Act of Parliament. So we have to repeal that Act. I think Act number 7, 2000, I mean, Act 7 or so, or 13, 2007. We need to repeal the Act and introduce a new one, which I think is what is currently going on at the both chambers.
Okay, one, name change.
Assembly. So we have to change the name. Two, under FRS, there is no provision for FRS to collect some taxes. For instance, what custom is collecting, what immigration is collecting, NIMASA, NPA, all of these government agencies, we have so many revenue collection centers. Okay. Meanwhile, in other climes, it's not that they don't collect, but they are representative of the government revenue agency in those places, which is not what is applicable under the current practice. So NIMASA will collect their monies, they will spend, and whatever remains, they leave. Some of the time, nothing is remaining. So, but now, government feels, okay, well, this is our money, and we have interest. This money is actually for the federation. So, FRS, most time even, you call it federal. But money is collected by FRS is also shared by three arms of government. Yeah. So, it's not really federal, it's federation indeed, not just the federal, because it's a bit different. So, now, if you now have Nigerian Revenue Service, it's going to collect revenue on behalf of the federation and bring it to the federation purse, so we know that how much we are collecting. So it's not just going to be that the immigration is collecting and saying this is the cost of collection and all of those. So a number of things will change, and I will not be surprised if some agencies are not particularly comfortable. They will not like with this system. So, but you know, there are countries there are several models around the world. There are countries where the immigration are actually collecting money on behalf of their government. And there are also countries where the revenue authority are the one collecting directly. They just have a unit in those agencies and collectors. I think the real challenge here is discipline. You know, over the year, there have been financial indiscipline, and you see a manner of all manner of revelation from snake swallowing government money to all manner of things happening. So perhaps that's why government say, well, let me put my skin where my money is. That is why they want to check where. Yes.
So aside this Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, there are 4 tax bills, and they're supposed to improve our life, because I took it too. They say that they would remove VAT from certain products, diesel and all of that, and they also said that small businesses going forward will start to enjoy certain. So break down those 4 bills under the tax.
Well, there are a number of them when it comes to the things that have been sent. One of them is, I already mentioned, that's introducing Joint Tax Revenue Board. Joint Tax Board, I beg your pardon, it's beyond just the FRS or LRS. There are some revenues that should be harmonized. And at the point of harmonization, what goes to state, at that point we go to state, what goes to federal, we go to federal, what goes to the local government, so it's harmonization of some sort. Not that I have paid certain taxes in Lagos, and I get to Oyo State, you know, not too far, you just cross Ogun, you are in Oyo State. And in Oyo State, they are saying, no, that's Lagos, this is Oyo, so you have to pay us. We might speak the same local language, but you have to pay us separately. So how do we harmonize these taxes? And why do we need to? For fairness and effectiveness. Again, for convenience of the taxpayer. That is why we are doing that. Again, we have also seen the need to remove some, what do we call it now, withholding tax. Some of these businesses that you have to pay withholding tax, businesses that are doing less than 25 million in turnover, but you ask them to pay withholding tax, you're actually denying them of their cash flow. So if somebody is supposed to pay your organization that makes this cup, because you have supplied them, and they are supposed to pay you, say, 200 naira, but they want to say, we are going to withhold 10%, which is 20 naira. That 20 naira would have been used to buy raw material and expand the business. So government is saying that for small businesses, maybe this is the first phase. No, let all the monies be released to them. So there are quite a number of things that you see in the bill that are really very interesting. But for me as a professional, as we say, the devil is in the details. Let's see the details. Let's expand it beyond the SAP that has been given to us. And if there are things that we think can be improved, we will improve. And I must also commend Mr. Idili's committee, because I've been invited about twice, you know, when they were having stakeholders meeting, one online and one physical, to look at some of the things they are doing. And I could see a lot of input from the public and from the professionals.
We spoke to him before the committee.
He's become a distant friend.
But we still remember our friendship.
Yes.
Okay, so the Tax Appeal Tribunal also forms part of the Joint Revenue
Yes.
Board. What is going on now? So can you break down for the common man what the Tax Appeal Tribunal, what it seeks to, you know?
So if you are asked to pay 17 million as tax and it's slammed on you, bam, and you are like, it's not a crime to look beautiful because you see my fine car and my face.
You think I have money.
And they slam your friend too. The two of you started having conversation. Why have they singled us out? Why can't they single Elijah out? Or why can't they single her? After all, we're on the same show. Why should they be charging us? We're earning the same amount of money.
We are black, that's why. They are light skinned.
So what do you do? Nothing. Who would you meet? Nobody. That is why there is need for tribunal.
Wow.
So that you don't just slam. For instance, I give you an instance. I mill rice. I produce rice, apart from being a professional.
Oh, okay.
And I remember when I was, yes, of course.
I have a colleague here.
So when I was importing, you know, and these are heavy equipment from India, to reduce cost of rice. Unfortunately, the cost keeps going up. Not my fault, but paddy sauce. Now, when we were importing, custom just slammed additional $60,000 worth of. So where do I go to?
Hey.
Now, if you don't pay, you'll be paying demorages.
Yes.
To who? To containerized terminal owners. Somewhere in Lagos State.
Everywhere.
Now, how many people would you talk to? That is why this particular question you mentioned is so apt. To me, it's one of the most important things.
Yeah, we must.
Because it discourages investors. How do I now want to say, okay, let me advise my team, let them do further investment, especially in agro, allied industry that affects our nation the most. So that is why I said, even for other things government is doing, it's important to look for people that have private sector experience and they're also professionals to bring their contribution into government.
Felt the pulse.
Yes. So this particular one, because if you don't have tribunal, where do you go to? Or you are driving a truck that carries, say, 600 loads bags of rice on the road and is not government palliative. You just want to supply in a neighboring state, and custom or immigration, anybody stops you. And you say you have seen all the documents. They say stop, because they know that that thing must be delivered on time. Who do you? So if you don't give us 10,000 naira, and I'm not saying they are collecting money, I'm not also saying they are not collecting money.
You are being a politician right now.
No. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they are not. But I'm only sharing experience for what happens why prices of things will keep increasing. Apart from challenges of food supply, I mean scarcity in terms of raw materials that we need and so on and so forth. But yeah, so the toll gates
allow me to be
are too much.
We'll take a break.
Okay.
When we come back, we will further the conversation. We maybe with a little bit of sarcasm from Nima. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We've been talking to Dr. Paul Alaje, Chief Economist and Partner at SPM Professionals, and we've been discussing the tax reforms, the new bill to rename and re-engineer how FIRS works. Nima had a question.
So I had a sarcastic question on this harmonizing taxes, because I saw when the news broke, the way people were loading it on X when the video was shared on one platform, and we were saying, this is about time, it should have happened since Obasanjo time. Why now? I've never seen where harmonized taxes improve things from a business perspective, because there are uncaptured taxes you still deal with. There's also the local government that will refuse to conform with the harmonized taxes. I remember during BRF, there was an harmonization of taxes, and then we are there, suddenly showed up and told us we are satellite B. We have not paid radio. I was like, they've harmonized all taxes. So how optimistic are you as a Nigerian and a businessman on that this would improve the lives of Nigerians?
Yeah. Well, for me, it has to do with enforcement. If there are no enforcement, people will not comply. And when I mean people, I mean actors. I mean collection agents of government. There are states, I don't want to mention the name, in Southeast, where the governor have announced that don't use cash to pay your taxes anymore. But the governor was shocked that a lot of people were still calling their relative close to government, that individuals were still coming to them to collect taxes. Cash. So the government had to send people. He set up a team to start monitoring, and by the time they arrested 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 15 people, that number incidents reduced drastically. So when we say that we are establishing joint tax board, to my mind, what we are doing is to ensure that there are no taxes that will come by surprise. You will not be driving on the road and somebody will just throw a long stick with nails wanting to puncture your tire because he wants to identify whether the vehicle is registered commercial or it's registered in your personal name, you know, and this is a very common incident in Abuja, you know. So if we can harmonize all of these, I think it will go a long way to helping us, you know. So, and if we don't, I can tell you that it's going to create more confusion. Now, Lagos State have tried to solve some challenges. I tell you, for signage, people in signage industry, Constitution says the fund should go, the adverts should go to local government. But local government don't own land. State owns land. So the state will build their land, and this is where the confusion comes from. State build their land. If you want to now run advertisement business in commercial terms, you want to put your board on state land. We state now say, oh, we are giving the road to local government, because it's not local government road, it's state road. So, oh, we collect money for the structure will be state. But local government will still be saying, but the view is ours. Then there is confusion or something. That is why organization like LASA is set up. DOAS in Abuja is set up. RISA. Lagos took the lead by looking at how do we solve this problem internally. I look at that agency functioning quite well. Other agencies like RISA have followed suit, ENSA, and so on and so forth. So how do we repeat that gain that we have had in advertising structure, even though Constitution was specific as to who collects advertaries, but the drafter of Constitution forgot that local government don't own land. Look at this road now that your station is. It's owned by the federal government. How can local government say that for people that put structure there, they will not? But LASA now hold that responsibility to say certain percentage of revenue collected will go to this local government, some will go to the state, some will go to... So you won't see that kind of dispute in Lagos State, another state that have harmonized. But there are some states, in spite of this good example they have seen from Lagos State, and the state agents have set up their structure, local government were still very adamant. So, but laws like this will help to put finality to a conversation around we have the right, we don't have the right. That is why harmonization will be. So if you are somebody in
make it sound like it's really
it's a walk in the park.
I love the how nice it sounds, but he also already mentioned that it depends on the enforcement, that the government needs to enforce the lack of the people that are already used to the way they are doing things to stop doing it.
Not just that, there should be punitive measures to those who decide to infringe.
Yes.
So for instance, you're traveling interstate and somebody drops a stick, you have confirmed under harmonized tax, you've done your paperwork, and the person you're talking to is insisting. Who do you take that out? That person can report
the matter. Yes,
no, that's why we need the tribe.
That's why you need the tribe.
On the main road.
Most of the time,
the office of the tax.
most of the time, I also think that it should be enforced by the federal, states, and local government, that you cannot just show up in my shop and ask me to pay tax. There should be a digital identification means. That is, if I scan maybe a code, I can see your name that you come from. So when I'm reporting, I'm not reporting unknown gunman or unknown face. I'm reporting someone that can actually be punished, be traced. So we don't just hire people, we have won election, we want to employ 15,000 youths. Oh yeah, come, let's settle you, start going
that
to the
still
street.
happens in Lagos. It's happening in Lagos, even despite that I've had to settle a relatively unknown young man. And when I traced it to ask the local government, because I could even have access to ask the local government chairman in the area that, who are these boys that two of them have come out, and this is the number they gave me. He said, they are our boys. We just gave them a target on revenue they should make, and whatever is left over, they can get to keep to take care of themselves. So they go outside from estate to estate and place impose bills. So, and at the end of the day, I said, "Well, I've already paid officially for this." He said, "For peace, just give them something." So
many Nigerians are still facing this.
We're still having to do for peace, settle.
So I settle 2 places.
Yes, you will settle 3 times for peace, because you know that the process of getting justice to be served or following the right path is a slow one, and we still haven't. You cannot. Your English is not going to solve the problem. We'll still have to just say it out so that our politicians, who are the lawmakers, can review and impute this inside.
Yes, because I wanted to answer Nima to say that, so that's what the Office of the Ombudsman is there for. So even before you get to the appeal tribunal, you already have the different offices, which I want to believe will be available maybe in the local governments for people to quickly get answers and be pointed in the right directions before you can take up the case now to the appeal.
So let me ask you, sorry, that the government, from the government side, there should be on uniformed individuals who would take those trips as well and arrest these people
undercover. So I'm more concerned about the people on the streets who have for many years been collecting this, and there are a lot of them. What is going to happen to them? Because it seems like you are beginning to take food from their mouth. Where are you going to put them? If they are not able to collect tax the way they've been collecting from businesses, they may decide to start doing something. So is there any plan to integrate them? Or are you just going to dump them and do this harmonization? Very important for us on the streets.
For me, countries where this have been done, they are the first set of people that were trained for them to now have new orientation. Not all of them were taken in those environments. They were trained and they were integrated into the system. Of course, somebody with a fresh orientation would lead the team, but you still have them at foot soldiers who now know that this is the way things should be done differently. But for those of them who feel that, oh no, this is the way it should be done, the law is the law. once we pass a law and says that you can no longer go on the streets and start throwing stick on people's tires to collect money from them, then doing that will become illegal and it will come with consequences. So I would not encourage that people should be left unemployed or people should be left hungry. At the same time, we need to be mindful of the overall economy. If you have to pay a charge 3-4 times and you are doing business, where do you think the burden will be transferred to? The customer. So now people's disposable income will be affected, poverty may increase, hunger may increase. So we need to look at it, which is better for us, to deal with poverty and make everybody poor, or to deal with illegality and right the wrong so that we can improve our overall economy. Apart from that, we have been looking for investors. How many investors want to come, bring their team, employ Nigerians, and they hear that on Oshodi, 3 vehicles, some boys, through stick, they want to understand us. So what would that mean for ease of doing business in Nigeria? And that is why perhaps you've seen people say, oh, this is long overdue. We need to start putting structure. You want a nation. You see, when you want to go to a country that you think is developed, apart from having constant electricity supply, what comes to your mind after that is there should be structure. In fact, in your mind, you feel that, no, I don't expect this to happen. And it's not just you that is investing today, but every investor you have, corporate or individual, there are 250 organizations, corporate or individual, that you are marketing to technically with or without your structure and with or without your system. So if you don't get them right, unfortunately, it may not last.
It's really surprising. I'm looking forward to the implementation of this. There's a little concern I have, though. I'm a bit concerned about, not just about the implementation right now. I'm concerned about the fact that we have many agencies who have always generated revenue and who have always spent from the revenue they generated, and now they are going to be stopped from generating revenue. How do you think this would, what are the loopholes you think might come up, and how do you think the government can preempt those loopholes to address those agencies? Well,
I'm expecting a lot of loopholes, especially in the medium time or right now to medium time. I expect a lot of, because people are already comfortable doing what they used to do. Now, the bill is suggesting that, you know what, still do your core mandate, but leave revenue for us. So if you leave revenue for us and we have to deal with people that are sincere, then that will be no problem. But because Adam Smith made us understand that people are not sincere, they are greedy. Adam Smith. And it's the reason why you now need to, one of the reasons why you need to study economics, for you to know how to manage the greed, not your own greed, but greed of others, alongside with yours, so that you can make the best decision. So what do? If you must deal with people who have been used to collecting such money and you don't want them, well, do you want to transfer them out of that department and move them to another areas? Do you want to bring their staff and integrate them into the new National Revenue Service so that they are not working and they are responsible to you? Do you want to send a supervisor from? So quite a number of things can be done to ensure that the right thing is achieved. And if this is not done, unfortunately, we'll continue in our old ways and hoping that we are going to see a difference in the near future.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul Alaje. You have given us a lot of information regarding this new tax reforms. I think that we are all waiting for the more elaborate, a more detailed release of the content of this tax reform. But from what you have said, it's something we should be excited about. We cannot fight the government on taxes. They need the money to better provide services for us. We also need to pay so that we can hold them accountable. That is not oil money. This is our own money that they are spending. And so we'll continue to do our part as citizens to hold government accountable as we get more information from professionals like Dr. Paul Alaje. Thank you, ladies, for an amazing show.
Thank you, darling.
Definitely the show will continue tomorrow. But for us right now, we're leaving the studio. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yanga, they come.